Hello everyone, this is Candy the 614 Stitcher, and today is Sunday, September the 14th, 2025. This is my Flosstube episode 147. If you are new to my channel, I would like to say hello and welcome. I have been away for a while, and I appreciate you checking out my channel to see if I can enable you with a project or two. And to my returning friends, thank you so very much for coming back each and every time that I do upload a video. As you can tell by my background, I am back in Ohio at my home. I actually moved back to Ohio from North Carolina on August the 31st. And it is bittersweet. My ultimate goal is to end up back in North Carolina. I really enjoy living there. But when you have other responsibilities, like a home and other things, you have to take care of those before you can just up and move back or move away. So I'm back for a little while to take care of my obligations in Ohio. I will be, with this video, I'm going to be giving you like a recap of all the things that I've been doing since July, all of the projects. I've done a little bit of traveling in that time, and I'll just in the month of July, I did some traveling, and I will update you on that. I really have missed doing the videos. However, mentally, with everything that was going on in North Carolina, I had to pack up my mom's entire apartment. I had to find places. I packed up all of her stuff. I brought some back. I gave some away. I took some to the thrift store. And so mentally, I just wasn't in a good headspace to record. I did stitch a lot. So this will just be like a mini summer recap of everything that I have done from July and August and into September. So I thank you so very much for your concern, and those of you that reached out to me to check on me to make sure I was doing okay. It has been a process and will continue to be a process for a while. It's just a lot. It's a lot to deal with. And so thank you so very much for your support and your understanding. So I'm going to jump right into it. I went in July. I went to a quilting retreat with Janet Jabber in Indiana. I flew from North Carolina to Indiana and worked on a quilt that I had brought. I actually worked on quite a few quilts, or quite a few. I worked on 2 quilts, and then I purchased some fabric. I am not going to be showing any investments in this video because like there are a lot. Between going to a cross stitch store, going to a fabric, going to a couple of quilt stores, like there's a lot, and it's all still packed away. I just, like I said, I just moved back here 2 weeks ago, so I haven't really unpacked things that were not essential to me getting back in the groove of being here. So those things are still packed away. So here's a picture though of the quilt that I started and finished. So I have a flimsy, which that's an unfinished or unbound quilt top. And then the next weekend I went to Gainesville, Georgia to visit Miss Dina, Miss Donna, and Miss Juliana. Miss Dina has a YouTube channel, and it is, she just renamed it. It is Sit, Stay, Stitch. And we had a wonderful time together. We did a lot of talking, getting to know each other. We went out to eat a lot, and we did get some stitching in, and I had a wonderful time. So any opportunity that I have to get together with friends to stitch, I always take those because it's good to stitch over Zoom and all of that, but it's also good to be in the company of other people. And so we had a wonderful time. And we also went to a new cross stitch store that is in Georgia, and I pronounced the name wrong, so I'm not going to say it, but the name of the store is called Cabin Cross Stitch. And it was a very lovely store. She's brand new to you know, having a L&S. No. Yeah, a L&S. Okay, I might have to pause this because there are people outside that might need to come inside for a minute. So if that happens, please accept my apologies right now for that. So we went to this cross stitch store, and it's Cabin Cross Stitch. And we had a wonderful time, lots of charts and everything. And of course they were celebrating, or not celebrating, but they had out Christmas in July patterns. And you can get on their newsletter to find out about their sales and all of that. So you just want to go to cabincrossstitch.com to look them up. And it was a really nice store. Okay, so that was the traveling that I did in July. So now I'm going to go through the recap of the charts that I did for July. As you know, I participate in a couple of different challenge groups, and one of the groups is, or one of the activities I do is called Whippagories. And for the month of July, the Whippagories were, the first Whippagory category was small. And again, I'm not going to have any before and after pictures because it would just be too long. I'm going to just show you the progress that I made on it and tell you how many stitches I did. So for my first, for the first category, it was small. And for my small, I chose Petite Coussin. And this is a chart that I picked up when I went to Hobby House a year ago. It's actually been a year exactly this weekend. And this is by Hobby House Press. And if you recall, I'm doing this pillow right here. And I actually converted this from DMC to overdyes, and here is where I am so far with that. So I really need to finish the pot, and then there's another flower that goes here, and I think that will be all. So this might end up being a finish for this year. So I have some leaves that still need to be put in. This flower needs to be completed, and then another one put over here. And then this pattern will be done. I put in 241 stitches on this project for the month of July. My the number of stitches I do for Whippagories is 200 stitches per project. And so I did meet that. I've been meeting all of the goals. I've just been stitching, which has really been helpful for me mentally. The next category was a project with 30 colors or more. And for my 30 colors or more, I chose 324, which is by Works by ABC. And I added 369 stitches I added all of this here. I am loving this project. I'm stitching this on 25 count gray with one thread. So it's 25 count over one using one thread. And that is where I'm at now with it. For Petite Coussin, I'm using a 40 count fabric that I got from Hobby House. I kitted it at Hobby House. And the fabric is Winter White by Seraphim, 40 count. Okay. The next Whippagore category for July was full coverage, which forced me to pull out my Purple Rain. If you recall from a few videos ago, I've really been struggling with Purple Rain. Here's what it looks like. It is the artwork. It is a Heaven and Earth design, and the artwork is by John Enright. And I actually, for the month of July, I put in 231 stitches. However, after stitching those 231 stitches, I seem to have gotten my groove back in working on Purple Rain. And so for the total of the 3 months, July, August, and September, I've put in 2,380 stitches. And this is what it looks like right now. I can tell you that this area is where I have been working on. What I have been doing is going in and taking care of the ninja stitches, and then I would put in a chunk of color, and then I would work on some ninja stitches and put in a chunk of color, and that's how I was able to get to the 2,380 stitches. So it's coming along, and I'm feeling much better about it now. One of the things, my son sent me the threads so that I could have them, and now that I'm back here, I'm going to put them all the threads for this project. It's an enormous amount. I'm going to put them on thread drops so that I will just have them available to use when that color is called, because as I choose a color, I'm going to fill in all the ninja stitches on it and then just keep going down the page. I think I've got it figured out in my head how to take care of it, and so, but I am happy to get back on the Purple Rain bus. I have a goal for this year to put 5,000 stitches in Purple Rain, and I am close to that goal. I need to pull up my Notion so I can find out just exactly how close I am, but I am close to that goal. So that was my full coverage for Whippagores. Oh, and by the way, Whippagores is ran by Sammy J Stitches here on Flosstube and Instagram, and I think she's on Facebook too. And every month she started this to help herself, and a lot of us have just jumped on the bandwagon, and we stitch those project categories with her. So if you are not aware of what category or Whippagores is, I would suggest that you follow Sammy, and she posts every month what the categories are. So it's another way to get in a lot of stitches. The I don't know what, I got it right here. I got two books that I'm going to be working out of, my calendar and my notes, because I have my notes too. Oh, so for the last Whippagory for July, it was Stitcher's Choice. And for me, Stitcher's Choice was Frosty Tiny Town. I had this started I started this in July at the Stitch New Jersey retreat. And I only had a little bit done, so I put some more work into it. And now I have the first part of the house completed. It still needs the door added. All the snow has been added at the bottom. So I just need to put in the door. And I also put in the top of the roof on the other house that will be stitched next. For Tiny Town, Frosty Tiny Town, I put in 270 stitches. Okay, so I also participate in a Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge, which is a group on Facebook ran by Carolyn Zook of C Zook Stitch and Robin Brown. I'm sorry, Robin. I know you got married and like your name is not, your last name is not. Anyway, she is Bird's Eye Stitcher on Facebook and in the Magazine Monthly Club. They run that club together. And that month, I only did the acrostic. And the acrostic for the month of July was Woolies. And the W in Woolies was Cardinal Wreath for me. And that was actually a finish. So here's what is by Tiny Modernist. And here is my finish. It is super tiny. I wasted a lot of fabric, but it's really cute. So here's where it is. Here's what I have done now for it. And I'm going to see about making this into a circle ornament. Lots of fabric. I should have, like, I wasn't really thinking when I put it in there, but that's where we're at now. So I'll be seeing about getting that finished in the very near future, because I want it to be a circle like it is on there. I started this project on December the 8th with my friend Sookie, and December the 8th, 2023, and I really enjoyed it. It was a cute, it's a cute stitch. So that's that. That was for the W, so it was Cardinal Wreath, and it was a finish for July. And then the next one was the letter O for ornament, and I started a Mill Hill ornament for my daughter, who is a Cancer. And here is where here's where I got to on that. Yeah, I think that's the right way. Yeah. So, and here's where I ended up being at on that. So for the Mill Hill, I put in 200 stitches. And that's my goal on all of the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge pieces is 200 stitches. So I put in a 200 stitches on that. And then the next project was, or the next O in Woolies was Oyster Shell, which is my put a put a bird on its sal that I am doing with EJ of the Sunshine Stitcher. She's hosting that sal. And it's not too late to join. People are still stitching. I'm still stitching. My goal on this project is to put in 1,100 stitches each month. For July, August, and September, July, August, and September, I put in a total of 3,511 stitches. And here is where I am now. I still need to unpack my boards, so I'm going to be getting those unpacked. So here's where I'm at now. I'm actually 83% completed on this project. This is where it's at. And even though it looks black, it is a variegated floss by Cottage Garden Threads. That's the name. And I'm using a 40 count Fox and Rabbit oyster shell for the fabric. It's a 46 count. And so the part, I need to put my initials here, and then the date will go down here. And I am working from the right to the left, and then I will go up and come back down. I am on track to finish this project in December. So that's where I am now with that. The next letter for Woolies is the letter L. And for the letter L, I used Lori Holt Kaleidoscope. And this project is actually on my Year of Whips, which is a group ran by Melanie Watkins. It will be opening back up in December. Yeah, December. So here's a picture. This is actually in a quilt book. And the name of the quilt book is Kaleidoscope. But that's the cross-stitch pattern she designed for it. And here is where I am now. I do believe that I can finish this project. Yeah. It is on my Year of Whips, and I do believe that if I put a few more months of work into it, that I should be able to finish it. I put in a total of 356 stitches in this in July. So this is actually the beach colorway. She has different colorways in the book that you could use to, stitch a different colorway. Sorry. Like, how you get all turned around like, what is going on here? By the way, I know you all have been asking about Albert when I was living in North Carolina. He is doing fine. He was super excited to have me back at home, and I am super excited to be with him. He's a lot more chilled now than he was when I left, but it's good to be back with him. For the letter I in Woolies, I chose ink circles. I always go to ink circles when I need an I because I love ink circles. And I worked on Garden of Zig. And this project also uses Cottage Garden Threads, which I absolutely love. I'm stitching this on a 32 count white tee by Color and Cotton. And here is where I'm at now. I added 220 stitches to this project. For the letter E, I used Emily Call, and that project is I Am Brave. And I am stitching this with a hand dyed by Rolanda one of a kind cotton. And I'm stitching it on a 36 count Vapors. And here's where I am on that now. I am going to be putting these projects in my in my Mental Health May to be finishes next year for Mental Health May. I put in 488 stitches on this project. And the S for Woolies is Salty Stitcher Design, and that is Dr. Maya Angelou. And for Dr. Maya Angelou, I put in 201 stitches. And here is, which is more of the words. I put in more of the words. So I am stitching this. I don't know where my... Oh, here it is. I am stitching this on a, it's called Pearl. It's linen, 36 count, Mystic Fibers, Pearl. Okay, so the next group that I participate in is Whip Go, and for July the Whip Go call was number 2 and number 16. This year I am doing letters associated with numbers, and so my number 2 was the letter U, and for that I did Umbrella, which is a chart called Current Mood. And I am stitching this chart on a 28 count Lugana by Color and Cotton. And what I did was I chose a different purple thread for each one of the rain coming down. I added for this project 541 stitches. My Whip Go goal is 500 stitches on each project. So that is where I am on that. This is like a mini whip parade, or something, you know, a mini whip parade is going to be. That was the letter, the number 2. For the number 16, it was the letter F, and my F stood for Sunflower Fairy. And this chart has become my nemesis. But I added 165 stitches to it. And I actually, you're not going to believe what I did, but I actually took out all the skin, put all the skin back in, didn't count it, forgot to count it. But there is where she's at now. I still have a little bit more wing on this project and the back stitching and the beading. I'm not sure about the back stitching because I used a chronic and I used one strand of chronic and one strand of cotton. So I'm actually taking this project with me so that my friend can look at it. I'll talk about that in plans. And I can get some assistance on it. I ended up taking out the face, the head, the neck, the arms, the legs, and doing them all over one. And now I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure about that project anymore, but I've put in so much work into it for so many years that I need to finish it. So we're going to see what happens with that. So my July stats for, the stats for July is I put in 7,576 stitches. I worked on 15 projects. I had 0 starts. I had 1 finish, and I stitched for 26 days. So that was really, really, really good. I had a great July. And I got in all the stitches that I needed to get in, and I was very pleased about that. So now we're going to move on to the recap for August. And for August, same thing, nothing different. We're going to start with the whip go numbers, though, for the month of August. And the first number was number 12. And number 12, for me, the letter associated with number 12 was the letter Z. And I chose Zweigart as the Z. And I worked on Capricorn by Nora Corbett. And for on this project, I'm stitching this on a fiber on a whim raspberry, and I'm using the called for fibers for it. And here is where I got to. When you last saw this project, all I had was this circle here and a little bit of this here. I put in 546 stitches on this project. So now I have just about the whole upper part here completed, and I can start working around here. I'm going to do all of this work before I go in and start the rest of it. At least that was my initial plan. Was to finish the whole entire outside and then put in the inside. So that was 500 and, what did I say? 46 stitches. The second whip go number for August was 15, and my 15 was the letter T. And for that, I worked on Turtles All the Way Down by Ink Circles. And this was a birthday gift from Carolyn Zook. And I started it, she gifted it to me for my birthday, and I started it on her birthday. And I put in 582 stitches on this project. It is on the called for banding, which is celery, 27 count with the called for DMCs. And when you last saw this project, I believe I had these first 2 turtles finished. I have now finished a 3rd turtle and the shell of the 4th turtle. So that was great. Oh, my little thingy came off. Okay. Okay, so now that was that. That was that. I also worked on color of the seasons winter for the month of August, because I have finished the spring earlier in the month. So I will show you that. This is a Carolyn Manning design. I am doing all 4 seasons. The winter one I actually started later, but here's where I am now with that. It is being stitched on an 18 count gray Aida, and I put in 679 stitches for it. So that is where that is. I'm going to be making all of those into pillows as I go along, or when I get to finishing them, because you know, finishing is the thing. So for August Whippagories, the first category was least amount stitched. And for my least amount stitched, I picked back up Immortals, which was a Stitch Con start for me. It is by Lucy Bean. And I am stitching this on a 40 count Verdal by Bestitch Me in Frost. And here is where I am now. I added 217, seems like I added more than that, but 217 stitches on this, which finished all of the flowers on the top and the words. I think I only had like 200 stitches in it before, so it's really going, it really goes fast when you stitch on it, so. Which is nice because maybe, you know, I'll get it done early next year. Well, I could potentially use it in October for something if I needed to. I'm trying not to use, so I'm trying to, whatever I use for like the month of August, I can't use it again until October. I'm trying to skip a month so that I can put more variety into my stitching. The next category, that was the least amount stitched, 217 stitches. The next category was Struggle Bus. And oh my goodness, this project has really been a struggle bus for me. But in the month of August, I found my groove and it was wonderful. So it is Coffee by Rosewood Manor. This too is on my Year of Whips, which is a group ran by Melanie Watkins. We have 10 projects. We need to finish at least 5 of them. And I really jumped in and put in a lot of stitches. Well, 284 stitches, but I have a lot done. So I completely finished the cup. Almost all of the roses and the greenery are done. There's some petite treasure braid that I need to add, and the handle for the coffee mug, and it'll be a finish. So it is on my to-do list once I get the petite treasure braid to finish this project. I am so ecstatic. I have been struggling because there's so many different color changes in those roses that I was just like, this is a slug. I don't know. But now, like, I got into a good rhythm with it, and it worked, and it has been really working out good. Okay, so the next category in Whippagories for August was Fandom, and I used Purple Rain for Fandom, and I put in 1,015 stitches for it. The category number 4 was Has No Black, and for that I used Thistle by Carolyn Manning Designs, which if you are seeing this video before September the 30th, she is having a great sale right now. So this is what the project looks like. I started this for a birthday start with Sammy for her birthday. And I added 518 stitches, and I almost have a page finish. There is where I am now. I added a lot, like all of this here has been added. I'm stitching this on an 18 count Aida using one thread. The next category is specialty floss. And for my specialty floss, I'm using Belle Soie, and it is on Modern Folk Embroidery Christmas Cottage. And here is where I am now. I have I added the tree, and I filled in the rest of the house and all of this here. I added 348 stitches to this project. It's no wonder I can't find my little nerd tubes. I got them on my project still. I'm like, where's all my little number 2s? I like number 2 nerds. I have all of the sizes, but number 2 is my favorite one. And if anybody needs a number 4, could you just let me know and I'll send it to you, because number 4 is not my favorite at all. Okay, so those were the whippagories for the month of August. And I also put in 1,209 stitches on Put a Bird on It style. Okay. So for Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge group, the acrostic is linen. I didn't do the themes, but I did the acrostic. So the acrostic is linen, and for linen I used Lindy Stitches Beautiful Things. And here is where I'm at now. I got a lot of work in on this project. I put in 795 stitches. I worked on the bird. I put in some more here. I brought this all the way down. Like, I put in a lot of work. There's the white stitches barely, you know, they show up good now, but like all of this work was put in. I am stitching this on I am stitching this on an 18 count diversity, and I'm using the called for floss. For the letter I used Immortal again, and I put in 454 stitches. For the letter N, I used Nori, and I stitched on this Juneteenth day, and I will put a picture here of what the chart looks like. I am stitching this on a 32 count treasure map by Color and Cotton, and I added 703 stitches, and that is the very top of the chart right there. So I still have some more to go, but it is very, I'm loving this border up here. Like, I could stitch that and just make it another. Okay, the next, so that was this Juneteenth day. The next project I worked on is for the letter E, and it is I Am Enough by Emily Call. And this is not a good picture, but dang it. I'm stitching this on a 36 count Artemis by Atomic Ranch Fabrics. Kia, you can come on if you need to. I just didn't want to turn it off again. They won't see you. It's okay. And here is where I am now on that. So I have one more flower to go right here. And this will be a finish. And I'm going to make it a finish for May, Mental Health May. I added 582 stitches to this project. So the fabric is purple and the floss is Roxy Floss Co. Silver Dollar. So I stitched one. I Am Brave is stitched on a silverish fabric with purple floss. And I Am Enough is stitched on a purple fabric with a silver floss. Okay. Pardon me. Okay, so that was E-N. The next N was Home of a Needleworker. And for Home of a Needleworker, I actually have a finish. I left out some things. I need to put this over there. Okay, so my Home of a Needleworker is stitched on a 28 count. I don't know why I got that hanging. But I am calling this a finish. I did not put on any of the down on the bottom border or the top border. But it is finished. I added 337 stitches for this finish. I finished it on August the 16th. And I really, really like it like this. Like it didn't, to me, it didn't need all of that extra, all of that. all that border and everything. So that's a finish. And I think I'm going to, I might try to put it into a project bag. I've been watching Miss Dina, and she has been adding cross stitch to project bags. And I like that idea, especially for that project. So I'm going to look at putting it into making it into a project bag. So that was a finish for August. The next project that I worked on, which was my daily stitch, I would put in 100 stitches a day on it. I started it on, when did I start this? I started on the first day of summer. And it is Colors of the Season Summer by Carolyn Manning. And I added 832 stitches for the finish. And I finished it on August the 4th. This will be made into a little pillow. I might be able to make it into a project bag though. A little project bag. I have little projects, small projects, so I can make it into a project bag also. but I think I'm going to do them as pillows, and then I could just have them sitting up there for when I do you know, theme decorating, whatever. So that was the month of August. My stats for August were I had 0 starts, I had 2 finishes, I worked on 14 whips, I stitched for 28 days, and I stitched a total of 10,037 stitches for the month. Okay. we're going to see how this is going to work, because it looks like my camera might try to shut off. Okay, I hope that doesn't fall. Okay, so now for the month of September. I only have a few projects for the month of September. I wasn't for sure how I was going to be mentally with moving back at the end of the month and everything that I came back to. So I did not plan to do a whole lot for the month of September. And now I'm like, okay, what am I going to do for the month of September? So the Whippagories for the month of September, the first one was a PDF pattern. And my PDF pattern for this month is Damn, I'm Beautiful, Self-Love. And here's a picture of where it was. Here's a picture of the chart. And then here's a picture of where it was when I last shared it with you. And here is where I am now. So today I added the shoes, this dressmaker form, and this part of the border right here. I put in over 200 stitches on this. I'm going to actually add more stitches to it. This was my New Year, New Start. I am stitching this on a 46 count Roxy Flosstube, Cloud Break. And I am using a Silks for You autumn pack that was gifted to me by Daybreak Stitcher. And so I will actually be putting more stitches into that this month. This is sampler September. That is a sampler. I'm going to be adding more stitches to it. Okay. The next Whippagory category is designed in 24-25. And for that, okay, I can put this up here now. And for that, I pulled out Disagree by Rebel Stitcher Designs. And here's a picture of where it was at when I last shared it with you. And here is where it is now. I put in 636 stitches on this. This is a 46 count antique white. And I am using Mo Sail Silk Witch's Hat for the floss. Hey, Misty Moo. Okay, the next category is full coverage, and you've already seen it. It's Purple Rain. This month for Purple Rain, I put in 1,062 stitches. The fourth category is nautical, and for that I used Christmas Claws by Salty Stitcher Designs. She has a YouTube channel, and she has a Flosstube, and she's a designer. And here's a picture of where it was when I last shared it with you. And here is where I'm at now. So I have the words in. I did make a design change on this. These were all like put together, and so I put one stitch in between each one of the letters. It's not going to make it any different, but I liked it better spaced apart than all crammed together. I'm stitching this on a 32 count Fortnite Fabrics in Extravagant. And I added 300 stitches to this project. Now my goal for Whippagories is 200, but I am trying to adapt a different daily stitching. So I think next year it will go up, and whatever stitches I get into it that day will be what I get. Because I find that I'm getting in more than 200 stitches on a project. So number 5, the 5th category is Stitcher's Choice. And for my Stitcher's Choice, I went with a project that I hadn't put very many stitches into, and that is Dimensions Butterfly Dreams. And here's a picture of where it was when I last shared it with you. And here's where it is now. So this will look much better after the back stitching goes in. If you know Dimensions kits, it all pops when you put the back stitching in. I am stitching this on a 28 count Blue Moon by Color and Cotton, and I'm using the fibers provided in the chart, in the kit. I didn't use the kit fabric, but I'm using the kit fibers. Okay, that was Stitcher's Choice, and I put in 306 stitches on that project. For the Whip Go numbers, the number 14 was called, and my number 14 is the letter A. And for that, I'm using Amethyst, which is a Carolyn Manning Designs that was gifted to me for my birthday. And here's a picture of where it was when I last shared it with you. Maybe. And here is where it is now. So I am doing one of these smaller. I am actually doing this one right here. I'm doing this smaller design right there. And so I have literally came all the way. This is the very top part of the, this is as big as it's going to be. And that's where I am now. I added 602 stitches to this project. So I'm going to go across and then down, and I'm trying to fill in wherever I can on the with the fibers as I stitch. This fabric is a 18 count Baron by Bestitch Me. And I wish I would have been paying better attention, because I could have literally put this all the way up here and would have been able to stitch another chart on here. Hopefully it won't go past this middle point, and I'll still have another half to use on the next one that I want to do. Okay. I feel like I was racing through that, but my camera says that I only have 50, I have like 10 seconds or something. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. So that was, and then this month for the Put a Bird, For this month, I put a bird on its sail. I put in 1,198 stitches. So that is where I stand from the beginning of July to right now today, September the 14th. What I am planning on doing for the remainder of the month is I am going to pull out some of my samplers. There's a lot of projects that I, didn't have with me in North Carolina. And so I'm going to pull out some of my samplers and put 1 to 2 days worth of work in to see how many I can actually touch and get some good progress on, because I don't have any plans for the rest of the month. Except for I am going to a quilting mini retreat in Indiana with Janet Jabber again this coming weekend. So I'll be gone the 19th through the 20th. I am going to try to also get back on a regular recording schedule. I don't know if I'm going to be able to record next Sunday since I'll be driving back from Indiana, but I really need to get back into the groove of doing the videos for my own mental health. So we'll see what happens with that. I also have a lot of things that I'm going to be kitting up for the rest of the month. I have a couple of new starts planned for this month, so I'll be getting those together. As I get things pulled together with my plans, you'll see them as they develop. Things are just everywhere right now in my home. I have 2 of my adult children living with me, and so things are just up in the air and everywhere. And that, things happen and you do what you can. I did not plan on coming back to North Carolina or Ohio. My kids were going to take over my home and all of that, but then things happened and I needed to come back. So, it is what it is, and it'll be fine. These are difficult times that we are living in right now. And with the economy being the way that it is, it just, you got to do what you can for your family as you can do it. And, pray to the Lord that it all gets better real quick. Don't get me wrong, I love my kids and, there's no problems or anything. It's just being here, not being in an empty nest anymore. There's a lot of change that I have to get back to and reconcile myself to having. So it'll be fine though. It always is. We do what we have to do and keep pushing. So I thank you all so very much for your support of me and my channel, and for those of you that reached out to me, I so really appreciate it. This has been a very difficult year. And your support and your concern and your friendship and your kindness means so much to me, especially with the way that the world seems to be turning nowadays. It really, really, really means a lot to me to have your support and your friendship and your kind words. So I do appreciate that. Alrighty, well, this has been the summer, what did I name it? I already named this. My July through September recap of everything that I've worked on. And I will be back soon to show you what I've been working on. It may not be next Sunday, but it will be sooner than 3 months. So take care of yourselves. Take care of your mental health. If you need to shut off the TV, shut off the TV, shut off the internet, shut off everything. Give your mind a break. There are a lot of things going on. And so, your brain needs time to, your emotions, all of that need time to rest And so I would encourage you to take that time and shut off your phone, do all the things so that you can keep your mental health intact and stable. Take care of yourselves, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye.